Thank you for choosing Family TV and Family Radio 316. You are on This Is The Day. I am Modix Airo, and I'll be telling you why locust invention in the country will actually be something of the past. But right about now, let's start with matters politics, where once again, the Senate has adjourned debate on the controversial third basis of sharing revenue among counties. This time, the adjournment was prompted by concerns on the whereabouts of three senators. Senators Cleophas Malala of Kakamega, also the Deputy Minority Whip, Christopher Lagat, the Senator of Bomet, and Stephen Lelegwe from Samburu are said to have been arrested under unclear circumstances. Makueni Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. challenged Senate Speaker Ken Lusaka to resign and allow him to take over the Senate's topmost seat. Senator Mutula called on Lusaka to exercise his powers and shut down the Senate until the executive and judicial arms of the state released their colleagues.
Even if there was an offense committed, those gentlemen can come here and we will represent them in court. But if my good friend and person who calls me my father, Senator Orengo, who is here, and Fogisio, who allowed this special sitting, is going to allow this sort of thing to continue, Mr. Speaker, there is no reason why we are a legislature. We should call ourselves members of county assemblies. I have seen the pain of death. I have smelt death. I have seen what happens when somebody gives you poison. You bleed and bleed so much, like my father did. May not happen to another person, because we are not conducting personal business of any person. Against our oath, we have let Senator Malala, who was supposed to go to Nairobi, Nairobi area, is now on his way to Mumias. Mr. Speaker, it is you, and I'm looking at you. It is you, Mr. Speaker, who has been defied. And Mr. Speaker, if you cannot sit on that seat, this will be a good time to resign. I can sit there. Because this is a chamber of parliament. It is to an extent, Mr. Speaker, you have such powers that if there was a vacancy in the executive, Mr. Speaker, you could be a president. And for even a rumor, Mr. Speaker, that you're under pressure. I hear you're under pressure. Pressure from who? Did God call you? Did you speak to God this afternoon, Mr. Speaker? Who is pressurizing you?
It's good you said it's a rumor.
We can see whatever is happening in the Senate right now. There is a lot that is happening in the Senate. The senators are up in arms. They are very, very, very angry. And Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen has reminisced the iconic quote by his Siaya counterpart James Jimmy Orengo on governments eating its own children. During the heated debate, Senator Murkomen reminded the senior counsel of his prophecy and told him that they'll come for him.
Senator Orengo told me on the floor of this house, with Senator Sang and Senator Aaron Cheriot, we were sitting here, said, Mr. Speaker, that revolution hits its own children. That, Mr. Speaker, this house, that, Mr. Speaker, this government was going to be worse to us than, Mr. Speaker, them that were in the opposition then. Mr. Speaker, Senator Orengo now sits in a more privileged position than me. He has, Mr. Speaker, the ear of the president and the government. Mr. Speaker, I want to look at Senator Orengo on the face. Mr. Speaker, it has devoured me, Mr. Orengo. Now it will come for you.
And Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala has now accused police officers of overstepping their mandate and authority in the attempt to arrest him on Monday, actually today morning, however vowing that he will not leave the officers alone, but only in the company of his lawyers and security team. The officers reportedly camped outside the Kitengela home of the legislator at around 3 a.m., claiming they were sent by a superior to bring in Malala for questioning. Malala alleged that the cops cut off his power and water supply in order to frustrate and intimidate him into surrendering.
They disconnected power. I was in darkness. They disconnected water. Yeah? So it is very unfortunate that the police can go this low. We were pushing for police reforms. Little did you know that the police reforms were even going to be more detrimental than what they were in the previous eras. So we would want to call the IG to call his troops to order. This is uncalled for, and this is undemocratic, it's unconstitutional.
We can hear the Kakamega speaker out there, Kakamega, actually Senator Malala, actually saying that they cut down his electricity and they cut down his water supply for the sake of him to surrender. And on that note, I just want you to tell me, do you support the senator's views that the democratic space in this country is shrinking? Do you support the senator's views that the democratic space in this country is shrinking? You can reach me on WhatsApp line on 0786 316 316, or you can SMS me on 20316, and I'll be sampling some of your views a little bit later. Moving on to matters COVID-19, and the number of coronavirus cases in Kenya continued to jump on today, with the health ministry announcing 245 new patients following the testing of 3,150 samples in the last 24 hours. This raised the total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 to 30,365, including 482 deaths and 17,160 recoveries. The health ministry said 8 more infected people had been reported dead in the last 24 hours, while 504 more had recovered and 461 were actually at home based and 43 in hospital. 16, and I'd earlier asked you the question, do you support the senator's view about that the democratic space in the country is actually shrinking? Do you support the senator's views that the democratic space in the country is shrinking? And I can see somebody here telling me, I can see Magdalene telling me that it's true right now with all the arrest of the senators that happened. It's so unfortunate. It means that we are just falling back into what we used to know before democracy in this country. I can see Tracy telling me that this is crazy and it should not be encouraged, because the same people who are just trying to make others suffer will be the same people that will make you suffer in the following in the following elections. So she's talking about, she's just putting it up with the elections. Robert telling me that this is all about politics, and politics, there is nobody like your enemy in politics, because things happen the way, depending on where you are standing and depending on your view. And I want you to also to tell me, just give me your view about what the senators are saying, because the senators are saying that the democratic space in this country is shrinking. So do you support the senators' views that the democratic space is shrinking? Remember, you can WhatsApp me on 0786 316 316 or SMS me on 20316. And moving on, Cabinet Health Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has dismissed claims that the ministry instructed the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency to award tenders to specific suppliers. The CS today said it was prudent to wait for the ongoing probe by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to draw a conclusion into what may have happened at the agency. On the COVID-19 cash sent to the health ministry, Kagwe said the ministry books are open and they can account for all the cash donations received so far. The CS appeared before the National Assembly Health Committee, chaired by Muranga Woman Representative Sabina Chege, over queries on the expenditure of the COVID-19 funds. Kagwe dismissed claims that the COVID-19 billions can't be accounted, saying they are built theories and innuendos and are just fictures.
Part of the process of getting where we got at KEMSA is an internal audit by ourselves, sending our own auditors to KEMSA. That's called responsibility. And we take it very gladly, and we are doing it. And that's why you see the kind of things that are happening in there. So that is number one. And then there is the issue of the actual technical implementation of an activity and a responsibility.
And Interior Cabinet CS Fred Matiang'i earlier today failed to appear before the Senate's Intelligence and Security Committee, with his PA claiming that he was on leave as directed by President Uhuru Kenyatta. This was after Senator Yusuf Haji said that the cabinet secretaries who were told to appear in the Senate claimed they were on leave. However, Matiang'i's social media team betrayed him after posting photos of the CS hard at work at the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. The CS presided over the launch of a border information management system alongside ICT CS Joe Musheru. The post became the subject of heated debate in the Senate, where a section of senators accused Matiang'i and the Interior Ministry officials of undermining the powers of the parliament.
and issue a directive seated in your chair, and Mr. Speaker, somebody says he's on leave. Imagine what would happen, Mr. Speaker, if the car that is driving Senator Malala at high speed rolls somewhere in Naivasha. God forbid. Would the cabinet secretary be on leave also? The contempt that they are treating us, the contempt they treat people who are elected, Mr. Speaker, tells you, Mr. Speaker, that this country is on the brink.
The CS Matiangi has updated, Mr. Speaker, that he was busy launching a border information management system with the CS Musheru. The IG, Mr. Speaker, has posted that he was launching a sanitation component towards better human environmental something with the CS Matiangi. Mr. Speaker, I respect your authority, but so others should respect your authority, Mr. Speaker.
With all these political temperatures rising in the country, I earlier talked to a political analyst, Mbenjiwe Mwenda, and he told me about the situation in the country, about the BBI, about the COVID-19 funds, and let's just listen in on what he had to say.
Thank you for having me on Family Television. This is home for me. I say praise the Lord to all our viewers everywhere. I love the Lord, and it's very humbling to be invited to my own folks to talk about these things. First, I must say it is absolutely embarrassing and very sad that such arrest can happen in our country. However, I think from the last election, we've been declining in our human rights record as a country. From the time of Baby Pendo to the time televisions and radio stations were all closed down just about the repeat of the elections after the first annulment by the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Going further into the second Supreme Court ruling where Supreme Court judges could not even get to court.
Yes.
And now to the second time, the Miguna debacle, Miguna voting. And of course, there was sadly just before that, the death of our beloved brother Musando. So kind of we're taking a back step to the big steps we had taken in our human rights record as a country.
Yes.
We created a democratic space that our second liberation fathers, fought for and created media space, freedom of speech, freedom of association, political party affiliation freedom. And it's sad that as a country until today, a son of this land lives in Canada because he cannot come back to his country because at some point he naturalized as a Canadian citizen. And then that has been used against him because he is against the system. And now these arrests by the senators are just, in that list. Yes. In that list in Swahili they say ukiukaji wa haki za kibinadamu.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, their rights have been, abused.
Yes.
It's extremely sad. I would not want that done to me. Yes. And as Jesus said, unto others what you would done unto you.
Yes.
I'm sure those doing this to them would not want it done. Certainly, and I'm sure our viewers can tell, that the battle is about their allegiance, or rather their acceptance to vote with the system in the allocation of revenue.
Yes.
So they have not been able to vote in a certain way and think and act in a certain way is the cause of the problem.
Yes. Yes. And as you talked about, you have given us a very good events that ran all the way since the general elections and the way our judges couldn't even get to the courts and the death of Msendo and all those kind of stuff. And do you think that the handshake has played a big part right now? Because on a normal day, if the opposition was out here, when such arrests were made, at least there will be some noise coming from somewhere. Do you think this thing of handshake between the government and the opposition actually has contributed towards such kind of oppression that is happening right now?
I don't even think using the word opposition is the right one. We should say Raila, Odinga, and Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
And yes, to some extent, Kenyans miss Baba. We miss the Baba that fought for our freedoms,
Yes.
the Baba that defended us to the core, the Baba that, raised up the middle finger to the system and told them, go, all of you go away.
Yes.
We miss that Baba.
Yes.
But be as it may,
Yes.
Kenyans spread their bed, and I wish all of us a nice sleeping. We spread our bed. It is our time to enjoy the sleep.
Yes.
Most Kenyans bashed Baba. They called him names when he told us stuff. They bashed him. Now, I know there'll be a question coming up with the BBI later.
Yeah.
But the Baba is on the one side of BBI. I don't think Baba is stupid. He's a little calculative. And because of it calculative,
Yes.
there are certain things that he's supporting. My friend, I am not his greatest fan, but people say, if Baba tells you your wife is pregnant, go and buy diapers. I'm not Baba too much.
Yes.
And I wouldn't want anyone to say I'm his supporter. In fact, I'm a supporter for President Kenyatta. People know that being in security, I support government all the time.
Yes.
However, Baba speaks the truth. Now that he's not there to speak, when he was speaking previously during the elections, the repeat elections, people bashed him. They insulted him.
Yes.
When he went to sue himself as president, people laughed at him. They called him Kimodokiagoma, like madman.
Yes.
They give him all names. Baba has now shaken the hand.
Yes.
He's quiet, not going to fight. He's a peaceful man.
Yes.
And people are hating that man who fought for them.
Yes.
But again, attitude is going on. They're still bashing him on BBI. 2024, 25, 26. If something else happened, we will be here to say we miss Baba. We miss the Baba that fought for us. We miss the Baba that would stand for us. And maybe if he'll be retired in Bondo, we'll go for him and tell him, Baba, please come and speak for us.
Yes.
That's it. People, so the handshake between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, yes, has removed that, we call him the enigma.
Yes.
The enigma. We have missed the enigma Baba who fought for Kenyans. And I can tell you, remove Baba there and there's no more opposition. There's no one to talk for Kenyans.
Yeah, okay.
If there is one thing to speak now.
Yeah. Because, and as you have talked about the issue of Raila Odinga being out of, not playing the role of the opposition leader in this country, do you think now it's time for the likes of Musalia Mudavadi to come out strongly and show Kenyans that they also have the leadership part of them, that they are not actually trying to ride on the back of Raila Odinga?
No. Musalia Mudavadi, with all due respect, is a spineless politician. Kalonzo Musyoka is a spineless, and I say that with a lot of respect. The one I would believe to come close to being an opposition leader is Dr. Boni Khalwale. Boni speaks his mind,
Yes.
If you could get Orengo, Senator Orengo to speak, Senator Orengo can speak. Another young tack rising up that can make a good opposition face is Governor Mutua of Masaku.
Yes.
But again, he may follow the pattern of the Kamba folks. They are always over in government. They don't go far. So he may not nice, but you can't count on Kalonzo Musyoka or Musalia Mudavadi to speak to Kenyans. No, those are cowards. They don't have the spine. They don't have the guts to speak. And, so if you see Musalia purporting to speak for Kenyans, it's like seeing Peter Kenneth going around Mount Kenya saying, now I want to be Mount Kenya kingpin. When Peter Kenneth cannot even be kingpin of Katanga. Not, and please, I say this as a sincere brother in the Lord, as a Christian. I say this with a lot of respect to them, but I don't see anyone that can match the likes of Baba in defending Kenyans, except it's someone like Boni Khalwale. If Boni Khalwale control his character a little bit, his nature a little bit, then put on class in his demeanor.
Yes.
And then look for some little money so that he's not a hornbill for someone else.
Yeah.
So we can't, Kenyans, in Kiswahili we say, Wakenya, we are by ourselves.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
without we don't have anyone to fight for us. I'm sorry.
Okay. And still talking about the fact that the opposition is kind of quote unquote dead in the country at the moment. We have seen a lot of reports about the COVID-19, the funds for COVID-19, and how they've been so much misappropriated in the country. So at the moment, do you think is it even right now for us to start putting up the talk about succession politics in Kenya, and yet there are some issues like the COVID-19 funds, which we don't know where they are, and nobody can account for almost 43 billion shillings in the country?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. As I said, Kenyans, we are here by ourselves for ourselves. Unfortunately, 2022 politics have clouded our minds and our day. And much as that expose by the television that exposed it last night was great and touched a lot of Kenyans, but I can tell you from my own research, the people involved are not your regular Kenyans. They are average, everyday Kenyans. People that made government entities like KEMSA bypass laid down procedure. And our CEO would break procurement rules when he knows he will appear before watchdog agencies, parliament, and others to answer questions. Who is this that was so strong that would twist the hand of the CEO to break the procurement procedures and award tenders haphazardly and recklessly without following the law? They must be powerful. And last night I went to bed almost 3 a.m. myself, trying to study that report, listening, at the report on NTV, and then searching online and everywhere as I could to know who are these people. And my friend, I can tell you, those are not your average Kenyans. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, like wrote George Orwell in the Animal Farm book. Yeah. And I can take this to the bank and cash it, like they say jokingly out there, nothing will be done. Yeah. Nothing will happen. The CEO, of course, having known that the NTV story was coming up, was sacked earlier. And that's all. So the buck will stop with him. He will carry the cross for everyone else. And people just smile all the way to the bank. If you study the names of these people that are involved here, these are the people who led the election and the funding of this government. So it's like trying to shoot yourself in the foot. Okay. If you shoot yourself in the foot, you're gonna hurt. So these are not your average people. Nothing will be done to them.
Yeah, and talking about the corruption that's happening, especially when it comes to matters of COVID-19 funds, which is so unfortunate and so sickening. Do you think that the timing of the politics right now in the country, the political temperature rising up in the country, is it a timing that maybe somebody somewhere wants you to forget about the way they have misappropriated the funds of COVID-19, or what do you think about that?
No, I think the bad timing was COVID-19. It's COVID-19 that interrupted our program. We did not interrupt the program of COVID-19. It's COVID-19 that interrupted our program. Yes. As it were, reggae was moving around, Remember reggae? The BPI thing, yes. It was rolling all over. I come from Meru County. When reggae came to Meru County, people said they almost stopped, but nobody can stop reggae. Nobody. That song is almost eternal. Nobody stops reggae. And so COVID-19 interrupted that program. Yeah. COVID-19 has a very unfortunate plague. It stopped everything from Champions League in Europe to Olympics in Japan to NFL in the United States to, athletics. Just recently now that countries and such sporting events are coming back. Last weekend you saw Kenyans running in the Diamond League in Europe. Yeah. So COVID interrupted our program. I'm answering this so that you can see the irony in my answer. Yes. That politicians don't think there's a problem with COVID-19. In fact, they think COVID-19 interrupted them. Yeah. They're not interrupting COVID-19. So anything they can do to move on with their normal lives is fine. They won't care about COVID-19 manenos. Yes. COVID-19 remains what they are, and I can assure you they won't go any so far. I mean, it will just go as far as it has gone this time.
Yeah, because you see, the other time the government actually gave out the rules and regulation for people to take care of themselves when it comes to COVID-19, not to catch the flu. But just the other week, our good president was out here addressing a whole crowd, and people are breaching all those COVID-19 regulations. And I've also seen there's a rally that are going around. Orengo's addressing a crowd somewhere, and I have a feeling, or I don't know what you think about it, that are we still going to full-blown politics and just forgetting about the COVID-19 and everything else that's happening in this country? Because politics is more important than COVID-19 at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, we become a highly politicized society where we finish elections in 2017, August. We get a rerun a repeat in October.
Yeah.
And by December of 2017, coming into 2018, we are on a full campaign mode for 2022 again.
Yeah.
And for 5 years politicking. So if you remove that part of politics in us, some of us feel like they are dead. Some of us feel like they are heartbroken. Some feel like their lives are not functioning well. Like there's a certain part of their blood that is missing. Politics has become our daily food. So that people are told, don't even gather people. They gather them in their homes.
True.
They are told, don't gather people. They even seek for every opportunity to break these rules. You saw politicians arrested in Eldoret, in Mombasa. You know, someone throws a bash to people and says, come, don't worry, I'm in charge. One in Eldoret, the MP for Eldoret town was even threatening the OCPD with the censure and transfer if he broke his party. And so politicians in this country, men, feel like they are orphaned right now. They see crowds like, see my tongue?
Yes.
There's an emoji. I'm craving.
Yes.
They see crowds, they are craving for those crowds.
I get it.
And fortunately, brother, this is where we are, and I can assure you, politicians are not going to back off. They're not going to let up. They will not shut up. They will not give up until we get to 2022. And I can assure you, election campaign for 2027 will start in September 2022 if we don't have a repeat election. From September 2022,
yes,
we will be on a campaign mode going down to 2027.
Yes.
We are unfortunately a very politicized society.
Yeah. And as we wind up just in a minute, I know that we are calling in for the referendum at the moment through the BBI report and everything else, and we still have a general election supposed to come a year after the referendum. Do you think the country is ready for 2 elections at this time, which we are not in the normal time of our lives at the moment? And do you think the country has enough money to run these 2 elections concurrently, 2021, 2022?
Let me answer you with a question. You don't have to answer me the question. Just
yes.
How much money does an election campaign or execution of an election take?
Yeah.
How much money has been stolen in COVID-19 manenos?
Yeah, I get
My
what
friend,
you're saying.
don't tell me we have no money. We have money to do 5 elections between now and 2022. We can hold 5 referendums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and elections 2022, and we have money. And by the way, I'll speak this because I know much of our audience is Christian. I tell you, God loves this country. God protects this country. God holds this country as his beloved. The way people steal from this country, if it was not by the mercies of God, we would have no roads, no hospitals, no schools, no medicine, no steamer, no nothing.
Yeah.
God has been gracious that in spite of the evil that has been around this country, God loves Kenya and holds us in his grace. So I can assure you, even if they bring 5 elections between now and 2022, we have enough money. I really don't have a problem with the referendum happening now or later. What I care is that our country remains united. And if BBI is going to achieve that goal, let me also say to Christians that God, the Bible says, all the nations have become the nations of our Lord.
Yeah.
So the the path of our country is in the hands of God.
Yeah.
I can assure people, God has Kenya in his heart and he will protect us. I don't want people to go sad, sleeping. All these corrupt people, God will judge them like this in one moment. So let's keep praying for our country. Let's stand for our country. Let's love our country. Let's be faithful to God in our country. In the small, it's the few of us that are faithful and loving and caring to God that causes God's mercy to continue being on us.
Okay.
But I can assure you, whether BBI comes now or later, whether elections comes before or after BBI, I can assure you Kenya will stand. We will get the leaders God has appointed for our country, and those that God will not appoint, he will disappoint them himself.
Great. Mbijiwe Mwenda, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. That was great insight when it comes to matters, current affairs in the country and where we stand as a country. And we really thank you for your time, and I pray that God blesses you so much and you continue being wise as you are, because I've realized you're too wise.
My love to your family, yourself, and every viewer that is watching. Let's catch up another day when God gives me the opportunity.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.